Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod bundle. Now, you've already read the title, and I know that the year is far from over, but I wanted to take today to talk about some of the absolutely insane mods that have come out in 2022. It's been an incredible year for modding, and I wanted to really shed some light on some of the amazing stuff that modders have been up to. We've seen some releases this year that didn't even seem possible, so I really just wanted to talk about stuff like that in today's video. And to get us started, let's talk about a revolutionary quest mod that changes the way that you're going to make money in Fallout 4, and that is Gun for Hire by FlashyJoer. Now, this is going to add a new bounty hunting agency that is all your own. No longer are you going to be hired by anybody, but rather you get to build this company from the ground up. What you're going to do is head over to the new abandoned building over by Diamond City, just outside the front gate, and when you head inside, you'll notice immediately that this is a fully functional workshop. You can actually take this thing over and build whatever you want in the available world space. So it adds a nice interior cell for you to customize and make your own. But on top of that, you'll notice a new desk that is just sitting in the middle of one of these rooms. Now, when you head over and activate this desk, you'll be able to hire an assistant who will get you started on hunting down bounties. There are very simple kill quests that you can pick up, or alternatively, you can take on some of the bigger targets like escort quests, protection, or hunting down very specific targets in hard to reach locations. Every time you complete one of these quests or bounties, you'll actually get reputation that will boost your score of your company, as well as caps and XP. One thing I really appreciate about all of these bounties is none of them are alike. The actual quest-like bounties are super cool. You meet some really interesting clients and NPCs, and some of them will even come with you on some of these missions. And with the basic kill quests, it will give you a random enemy in a random location every time. One time I fought a Mirelurk King out by Sanctuary, and another time I fought the Deathclaw in the middle of the city, and actually got assisted by some of the people around there. So that's pretty interesting, and it always makes for a unique experience every time you pick up one of these missions. So now you're situated hunting bounties in your own space that you can customize and making tons of caps. You can even hire mercenaries to help you on your job. So there's actually a full set of companions that you can pick up that will allow you to make jobs even easier. And you can of course mess with their equipment, make them have a uniform, whatever you want to do, they just function like regular old companions. There are a handful of bounty hunting mods out there, but I think this one is definitely the cream of the crop. It really has a lot of customization options, and it lets you make this bounty hunting operation your own, and I really appreciate that. Adds some really cool role-playing elements and just makes for an all-around good time. Definitely a mod I'd recommend downloading in just about any load order. You can do a whole lot with this. Now up next, something a bit different, we're checking out REACTOR. This is a Fallout 4 E&B mod by Sevenence. Now typically we don't really talk about graphical mods or E&Bs on this channel, but this one is honestly incredible. I used to shy away from E&Bs all the time, and when people asked what my setup was, there was never an E&B included. But once I got introduced to REACTOR, I kinda never looked behind. I've been using this mod ever since, and I really enjoy it. I've been switching off between REACTOR and Ghost, which are very similar, but I think REACTOR is my favorite of the two. This is going to add a ton of vibrance to the wasteland, as well as a lot of pop, adds some incredible depth of field and some other effects, and it pairs with NAC to make for some really interesting visuals that you just won't get in the vanilla game. I'll go ahead and show some before and afters on screen now, just so you can really see the impact of the E&B. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see what exactly an E&B is doing until you compare it to the original game, and then it is just miles apart. In my opinion, this adds a hint of photorealism, at least in regards to the shadows and lighting, but also doesn't get into that uncanny valley territory. And honestly, I just really like the way that my game looks when REACTOR is out. And it makes sense that it's one of the most downloaded E&Bs of 2022, and actually one of the most downloaded mods of 2022. This one truly looks visually insane, really cool E&B, and it's definitely got a permanent spot in my load order. I never ever use EMBs in Fallout, but this one has made me change my mind. Excellent work by Sevenence. I think this adds a really cool look to Fallout 4. Up next, we have a mod that I actually missed when it came out, and I truly regret that. This is FGEP, Feral Ghouls Expansion Pack by Ethnet. This adds a ton of new feral ghoul variety into Fallout 4. Whenever you encounter feral ghouls, now there are a ton of new variants that are unlike any in the vanilla game. And that's truly saying something, because in the vanilla game, the variants just really change the skin tone and the names and maybe the HP pool. But now we have actual different ghouls with different gameplay elements. For example, there is a vomiting ghoul that will spit blood at you, so they actually have ranged attacks now. There are feral ghoul tanks, which are absolutely massive and have a huge HP pool and will do tons of damage. They're essentially a small version of a super mutant behemoth. You'll now find ghouls with clothes, ghouls with weapons, all kinds of ferals that just help to spice up combat instead of the same old stuff over and over and over. Newly added enemies in this mod include, but are not limited to, feral shamblers, feral exploders, feral spitters, slashers, rotters, and even tanks. They are absolutely crazy what is in this mod, and tons of these look so different, use different animation sets. Something like the feral brute is more like a super mutant version of a feral ghoul. The crawler crawls on the ground. Exploders, well, explode. If you've ever fought a boomer in Left 4 Dead, you'll know exactly what this thing is. These enemies are awesome. One of my favorite inclusions in this mod is the feral slasher, which actually holds weapons. Sometimes you find them with machetes, sometimes you'll find them with a plank of wood with nails in it, and they'll always have different armor sets on as well, as if they used to actually be people, which is exactly what feral ghouls should look like. I think this mod integrates very well into any lore-friendly load order, and you can even throw it into some more modern load orders as well if you're just looking for more zombie-like enemies to fight. This really is a cool mod. All of these enemies are added to the leveled list, of course, and you have a chance to encounter them in the world anywhere you might find feral ghouls. So, if you download this one, be wary, because feral ghouls are going to be a lot tougher than they used to be. Now, up next, we have what is one of my personal favorite mods of 2022, and it's definitely in my top 5 mods of all time, and that is Rifles Rebirth by Skibadaa. If we were going to include a weapon mod on this list, this is definitely it. You get a ton of weapons in this pack, all of which are of extremely good quality, and they're just absolutely beautiful. Not to mention, they're all super lore friendly, which you know is right up my alley. Skibadaa has made some absolutely incredible work in the past, but Rifles Rebirth really takes the cake as one of the best weapon mods out there right now. We have recreations of old classic weapons like the Chinese assault rifle, and we have totally new ideas like the IF-54. And what's really cool about this mod is it's not as exclusive as other mods by Skibadaa. This one has a ton of different types of rifles. The IF-54 battle rifle is very versatile. It can play any sort of assault rifle role. The WH-77 LSW is a huge, cool LMG that just looks absolutely badass. The LR-72 is Skibada's version of the combat rifle and has a super unique profile unlike anything else on the Nexus, with a crazy looking carry handle. We have the TNP-45 submachine gun, which is very reminiscent of the 12.7 submachine gun from New Vegas. We have the TD-64 assault rifle, which again is that recreation of the old school Chinese assault rifle. Then we have the IFAM-50 anti-material rifle, a dedicated 50 caliber sniper that we desperately needed in the lore-friendly side of things. We obviously did have the classic New Vegas version on the Nexus, but this one is completely original, completely unique, and just adds a bit of spice to Fallout 4 that you can't find anywhere else. And Skibadaa has added all of these into the leveled list so you can find them on enemies to help add more variety to gameplay and make exploring the Commonwealth even more fun, and in some ways more terrifying. Because again, if these are added to the leveled list, that means they will be shooting back at you, so watch out if you ever hear a 50 cal going off in the distance. All of these weapons are chock full of lore-friendly attachments that can be applied over at the weapons workbench, and there was definitely no skimping in quantity or quality with this mod. Skibadaa spent a lot of time on this thing, and it definitely paid off. As if that wasn't cool enough, a majority of these weapons even have custom animations, and those that don't may be getting some very soon. And we're even going to get an update at some point in the future that's going to add another weapon into this project, so that's absolutely insane. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for a ton of new lore-friendly weapon mods, then Rifles Rebirth is the place for you. Now finally, the last mod on our list, something that pretty much everybody should know about unless you've been living under a rock for the past year, is the Point Lookout DLC by TheCapitalWastelandProject. This is a complete recreation of Fallout 3's Point Lookout DLC as part of the much larger Capital Wasteland remake project. This is the entire DLC, the entire map, locations, enemies, items, weapons, armors, everything that you could think of that would be in this DLC is here. Fully voiced dialogue, perfect recreations of all of the assets, and all of the quests are functional and intact, including the side quests, which is just awesome. As somebody who didn't get a ton of experience with Point Lookout back in its original Fallout 3 days, being able to re-experience it in Fallout 4 on a new engine with updated graphics is awesome. Not to mention, you can bring in all your mods that you have from the Commonwealth. Getting started in Fallout 4's Point Lookout DLC is just the same as it was in Fallout 3. Simply find the newly added ferry that will take you over to Point Lookout, and then your quest begins. And everything is perfect in this mod. If you want to re-experience your childhood in Fallout 3 and all of that nostalgia, I highly recommend picking up Point Lookout, as this is just a taste of what we'll be getting in the overall Capital Wasteland project. The Capital Wasteland team has been putting out some truly incredible stuff this year, and this was definitely the mod that takes the cake as their greatest thing they've done so far. Completely recreated all of the wildlife with complete skeletons and animations, all of the weapons from Point Lookout that we all wanted to see, and all of the armors that were included as well, including some nice little surprises hidden here and there if you do all of the side quests. This is definitely one that I'd recommend you go out and try for yourself, because it's truly an experience to be had in Fallout 4 and adds so much promise and makes everybody so excited for all of the other big Fallout projects that we have on the way. Can't wait to see what comes from the Capital Wasteland team next, as well as all of the other big projects out there. This truly is one of the best things that we have for Fallout 4 right now, and I think everybody should download this one. With that though, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. If you think there's any mods that I miss, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I tried to limit it to 5, and I used not only my own personal bias, but also checking out the endorsements and downloads over on the Nexus, just to make sure that I wasn't leaving anything out. But I'm sure that some of you may disagree. So again, be sure to let me know in the comments if you think there's any I miss, as I'm sure anybody watching this video is just looking for more excellent mod recommendations. With that though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to try any of these mods, they will of course be linked down in the description below, along with Xbox links if there are any available. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a rating. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And of course, a very special thank you to Astro, Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie, Noid, Cushy, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, and YouthRC for joining that tier 3 Patreon membership. If you want to try Patreon, it will be linked down in the description below, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!